Are you a student going through a lot of anxiety?
Maybe stress or uncertainty due to COVID? Well, just know you're not alone.
We know what it's like to be going through all of these things, and we are here to help.
So come join us on all August Sundays, starting August 16th, where professional panelists will be sharing
their personal insights and their own stories of COVID-19
to help create more awareness around mental health challenges during this pandemic.
Let's take a global stand against COVID.
Team Talks every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific times, only on TVASIA Telugu.
Hi, this is 𝗧𝗘𝗘𝗡 welcoming you back to Teen Talk. Over the past 3 weeks, I've had great pleasure in meeting you all along with our wonderful panelists from across the world. And here I am yet again presenting you with another episode of GSA COVID, the Global Stand Against COVID, a student-driven initiative for students across the globe. In our past episodes, we've had great discussions covering a multitude of topics and concerns relating to the mental health of students during this pandemic. We've had loads of amazing recommendations from our successful and established panelists that come from various fields such as medicine, healthcare, technology, business, and academics. And guess what we're gonna do today? Based on some popular inputs and ideas from our previous shows, we are more than excited to bring you feedback from students across the world as to how the GSA COVID event series had helped them, as well as amazing stories as to how these students have been able to cope with the challenges posed by this pandemic. And this has been an amazing learning experience for me too. I've increased my tool set on how to deal with the kinds of expectations imposed on high school students today. I've incorporated a lot of this feedback into my everyday life. For example, spending more time outside, as you can very obviously see. First off, I would love for you all to hear from the various members of our GSA COVID leadership team and their learnings from these panel discussions, as well as their personal stories behind this COVID-19 outbreak.
Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm from New Jersey. I'm actually one of the leaders of the GSA COVID project. Now, I've been watching the live events for the past 3 weeks. I've been listening to what all the business leaders and doctors and life coaches have had to say about all the different problems and questions that we've accumulated. One thing that's really stood out to me that I heard repeated over and over again by all the panelists was that you have to have a positive mindset about everything going on during this pandemic, and that's how you're going to have a healthy mindset about the pandemic as a whole. So you always have to think about the positives rather than the negatives. You have to think about what you have and the new opportunities you've gained rather than what you lost and what you're missing. So I know that for a lot of kids, or basically the whole nation, we all went virtual during the spring. A lot of high school students, especially if you were a senior, maybe you didn't have your graduation the way you wanted it. You couldn't hang out with your friends, but it's better not to think about that, and instead think about stuff like you had more time to spend with your family. And I know that family can get annoying, maybe you don't like your family that much, but you certainly had the opportunity to talk with them, connect with them, do stuff with them, get closer with them if you wanted to. You have the opportunity to do basically whatever you want. You also have the chance to pick up new things, learn new skills, whether it be learning a new language, picking up an instrument and learning how to play that. If you're interested in making music or dance choreographies, any of that stuff. And it's still not too late, especially if you're in virtual classes. You still should have plenty of time to pick up new hobbies. And even once we all go back to school and everything starts to return back to normal, picking up new hobbies is always a fun thing to do, and you should continue it even once you lose the amount of time you had during this whole pandemic. Just a little bit of time each day is all you need for a hobby. Maybe some of you are upset about not being able to see friends during the pandemic, and that's totally understandable. I myself was rather upset, especially towards the end of summer, because my parents didn't want me going out, hanging out with friends inside, and some of my friends would they would get together and play video games at someone's house, and I wouldn't be allowed to. But then what I did was, instead of getting upset about that, I decided to ask my friends to do stuff online. So, for example, one Friday night we hopped on a Zoom call. We started playing this app called Among Us, and we were playing that from 11 p.m. till 4 a.m. I think it was. And we did it about 3 more times over the next 2 weeks, and that was loads of fun. I mean, it was just as much fun as hanging out. So there's plenty of games you could find online, whether you want to play them with your friends or your family or your grandparents, if you're fortunate enough to have them around. So just some ideas. There's this app called Among Us that we played. It's kind of like a mafia game. There's a game called Codenames online. I'm pretty sure you can play Pictionary online on a certain website. But really all you have to do is look it up. There's plenty of games to play. But the main idea is that as long as you have a positive attitude, positive outlook, you're looking at the advantages that you have from the pandemic rather than the negative stuff, then it makes life a lot more easy on you. You don't stress as much, you're less anxious. It's really just about changing your mindset, and that's going to change your life. Another important thing that I realized from watching these GSA COVID live events is that it's important to think about your problems as temporary roadblocks rather than these giant obstacles that you can't get across. For example, if you're a senior in high school like me and you're applying to college, the whole application process might seem extremely stressful, as it is to me. It makes me anxious just talking about it with my father. But you have to think about it as a temporary problem, because that's exactly what it is. In just a year, I'm going to be committed to college already. I'm probably going to already be at college, new roommates, possibly some that I've never met before, and hopefully that will be my friends for years and years to come. But this kind of mentality really works for almost all problems. I mean, if you're stressed about schoolwork, a project, summer work, if you do AP classes, in just maybe a few days, weeks, you're going to be past that, and it's going to be over with. And once you start thinking about things like that, then it just doesn't seem as much of a load on top of your shoulders. So as long as you create a plan and just understand how much you have to work towards it each and every day, and then you also understand how much it's going to feel, how great it's going to feel when you finally get that burden off your shoulders, then it's like being able to see light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to be able to navigate your way through it. It's not going to be as scary as it is if there's no light and you're lost and you're trying to find your way without any help. Now, another important thing that the panelists talked about is going outside, getting some fresh air, some exercise. Now, personally, I'm very close to my family, so I would go out with them a lot. As I said before, I live in New Jersey. If you live in New Jersey too, then these are all places that you could go to if you wanted to. There's 𝗧𝗘𝗡 Park, Hedden Park. Those are 2 great spots for hiking that my family and I would always go to. If you were interested in biking, you can go to the Delaware and Raritan Canal State Park Trail. You can go to Liberty State Park, which is you have the New York City skyline across the water. If you just want to go to places that are nice, that have nice views, the Perth Amboy waterfront, the Rutgers Garden. So, I mean, I'm only naming places that are in New Jersey, but really all you have to do is type into Google places to hike, places to bike, places to just walk, gardens, anything, places to just for sightseeing, really, anything. And it doesn't have to be with your family. You can go with friends, you can go with extended family like cousins, some classmates. It's just important to get out there. If you have TikTok, I know there's a lot of videos about places you have to go to in, wherever you live. And those have a lot of great places to go to. But the key idea is to go out, try and go out with family or friends if you can. If you can't, maybe if you have a dog, it'd be great to just walk the dog anywhere. But it's just important to get out of the house, especially during the pandemic, especially when you're cooped up with your family all day. You have to, you have to endure your parents all day. It's good to go out. And that's it.
Hi everyone, my name is 𝗧𝗘𝗘𝗡 and I am a senior right now in the Honors College at Rutgers University. I am part of the Panelist Recruitment Committee for GSA COVID, and I'm very excited to share my experience from the past few events. During the pandemic, I not only had to deal with the tumultuous environment of a whole new reality, but also keep up with college and applying to med school at the same time. I felt stressed and overwhelmed a lot, so as many panelists recommended, I set a schedule for myself and fell into a routine. I set an alarm to wake up at 9 a.m. every day, whereas previously I would just wake up whenever I felt like it and go about my day. I made sure to eat lunch before 1 and dinner before 7 so that I could stick to my schedule better. I also made it a point to go outside for at least 30 minutes or an hour every day between my working hours. Having a schedule to follow really made me feel more relaxed and productive. I also found that I would keep looking at my phone whenever I got overwhelmed by my work or I felt stressed out by the amount of things I had to do. So I set app limits on all the apps that I normally use. It's really easy to do. If you can see, all the apps that I normally use are blackened out with an hourglass next to them, which means I won't be able to open them after I've used them for an hour or whatever the limit I set it. In addition, I started doing guided meditation, which is really easy to find. I just looked up a couple videos on YouTube. There are a lot of themes like motivation, positive energy, and so on, but my favorite is relaxation because I don't really want to think about anything when I meditate, and that is really a good way for me to have some me time for myself, which also a lot of panelists recommended, and I personally found that very rewarding for myself. Meditating or putting app limits on my phone and setting a schedule for myself, anything that I did to make my life feel more focused and structured made me feel better because I feel like now we're really bombarded with a lot of information at the same time, and as many panelists addressed in our events, that kind of overwhelms a lot of people. So any kind of structure I brought into my own life, I really valued. Before the pandemic, I lived on campus with my closest friends, and we would talk about everything going on in our lives at the time, just casually when making dinner or popping into each other's rooms. It was a really great way to deal with a lot of the stress of school and things because just talking to someone often helped. However, after coming home, it was harder to stay in that kind of easy, constant communication because we were all scattered now. Not having that easy access to them made me feel more isolated than usual, and so I started journaling at night as a way to have some me time, actually inspired by one of our speakers, Miss 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗆. I would just go into my notes app, just type whatever I felt like at the end of the day, and eventually I just incorporated that into my daily routine, and it was something that I did every night before I went to bed. And it has really helped me live in the moment, as many speakers also suggested, and also keep in touch with myself. As the pandemic went on longer than anyone expected, and college ended, and my academic/professional commitments dwindled down, I find myself getting bored frequently. I would watch a lot of TV and just sit around, scroll on Instagram during my free time. Not only did this make me feel lazy and lethargic a lot of the time, but also gave me headaches because of prolonged screen use. I'd always wanted to cut down my TV watching time, but hearing many speakers suggested just pushed me to really try. I've always been an avid reader. If I could show you, there's a lot of books on my bookcase right here, but previously busy schedules with college and my involvement in a lot of extracurriculars often prevented me from being able to read as much as I wanted to. And so I decided to take advantage of my now very free time and dedicate more time to reading. I recently read Call Me By Your Name by 𝗂𝗓𝗩𝗡, which I really enjoyed. And now I'm currently reading the new Hunger Games book that came out recently, and I'm really excited about that. I've also gone back to more artistic endeavors, which I haven't really done since I was little, and I'm finding inspiration on social media or YouTube. I recently made this out of embroidery thread that I saw on YouTube, a tutorial. You can tell that I really liked Call Me By Your Name. And me and my sister painted this Bob Ross tutorial together, which took quite a long time actually, and it was kind of hard, and she did most of the work, but it turned out pretty good. Right now I'm working on these watermelons with embroidery thread, so it's a work in progress. I really like doing these artistic things again. It's been really nice kind of getting back into things that aren't strictly related to my school or profession or studying or anything. And when I'm doing these things, I really don't think about anything else, so I'm really like relaxed, and it's a great way to pass my time without looking at my screen for so long, and it makes me feel more creative even when I have to go back to do work. Finally, I am so thankful to have been a part of this team and gained such valuable advice from our panelists. I feel like it's easy to lose hope or feel dejected during this time because so many things have been taken away, but it was really nice to hear passionate words of encouragement and hope for the future from all of our speakers. As a pre-med student, I'm used to doing a lot of community service, and it was something I really valued and enjoyed in my life, but unfortunately had to stop because of COVID-19, just like so many other things. And so I'm especially grateful for my involvement in these events because it allowed me to feel as though I'm still giving back and helping communities around me from the comfort of my own home. I'm glad to have been a part of something that aims to spread positivity around, and I hope many of you have been inspired or helped by our wonderful panelists just as I have.
Hello, my name is 𝗧𝗘𝗘𝗡 𝗧𝗘𝗡. I am a project leader for the GSA COVID initiative. So one of the questions that really helped me in my everyday life that was answered by a panelist was the simple practices or steps that you can take to relieve your overall stress in your daily life. And so one of the panelists responded by saying to create a routine. If you create a routine, that way you can space everything out, you have better time management. You don't have to necessarily cram everything in one day, let's say homework assignments or whatever it is. You don't have to cram it in all in one day. So what I decided to do is create a routine, and how I created a routine was by setting a set time to sleep and setting a set time to wake up when I have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, reserving special times to do homework, as well as reserving special times for also hanging out and doing what I want, which is my free time. So another question that a panelist answered that really helped me a lot was the question about relieving stress before you go to bed. Now, I usually have stress before I go to bed, sometimes usually due to academic workload and tests or quizzes or whatnot, but one of the answers that the panelists recommended was to not watch TV or not watch any electronic device, not use electronic devices 2 hours prior to you actually sleeping, which really helped me a lot. Although it's very hard, I've been trying to start off with 30 minutes. Whoever I'm gonna play Xbox with, I just say, hey guys, I'm just gonna stop playing just a little early, just so I can make sure I have that 30-minute gap of just like relaxing to myself right before I go to sleep. And over time, I'm hoping to get to that 2-hour mark where I can just steadily just keep on increasing the amount of time gap there is between the electronics and between when I go to bed.
Hey everyone. So from what I learned with the events that we've done with GSA, I've learned that it is okay to be stressed. It is completely normal. Everybody is stressed. Everybody has anxiety. I learned that it's okay to have anxiety every once in a while. It's okay to be stressed, but it's also very important to know how to deal with that stress and know how to, get rid of it. So I learned that there are plenty of activities that you can do. You can go outside, go for a walk, call a friend, do something you love, bring your spirit up about the situation.
The last few weeks with GSA COVID have helped me tremendously. I am now able to cope with my stress much more.
I have also learned more about what the academic future holds. One piece of advice I definitely used related to creating valuable relationships with my teachers. I emailed the teacher in my school asking more about her course, and she gave back an incredible response. I already feel much more connected to her.
So ever since a few years back, when I started high school, my electronic exposure has been significantly high. My school actually gave out students their very own laptops, so all of our work, assignments, everything was done on there, and everything was pretty much digitalized, and we barely used paper and pencil anymore. So we were already used to using our laptops a lot. But ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, which was about a few months ago, I feel like all students have become dependent on, their devices, because now everything has been shifted to online classes and online work, and everything is on our laptops now. And, being exposed to these harmful rays and these lights that are coming from these laptops, especially from morning to night all day long, is very, very, very harmful, especially to young students. We are pretty young still, so it can be very harmful to our health. And for me, it definitely made a difference in my sleep schedule, not in a good way. I remember some days I would sleep as late as 4 a.m. and wake up at 2 p.m. And to me, this was crazy because my days felt so short, and I ended up only eating 2 meals a day because I just didn't feel like eating anymore, because my whole day was completely different. I was living in a different time zone. And this was very hard for me to be able to manage my schoolwork and extracurriculars, spending time with my family, taking some time for myself. All of this was not fitting in with this sleep schedule. And when I watched the events, when I heard the advice from these panelists, a lot of them were telling me to switch off my devices a few hours before bedtime. And especially with all the schoolwork and stuff, I was very lazy, and I wasn't, wanting to finish it in the morning time. I kind of kept it off until later on. And after hearing all this advice, I knew that I had to make that change. And before I could do that, I had to establish a schedule for myself. So I sat down one day, I made myself a daily routine so that I was able to finish all of my work in the morning time, and I can dedicate the evenings to my family, my hobbies, myself, and, basically put off my screens before bed. And, my parents do tell me this a lot of the time. They do come and talk to me. They're like, hey, just don't use your phone before bed. It'll definitely help you and stuff like that. But hearing it from these professionals, for example, these doctors, they explain the science behind turning off your devices at night. And understanding these things definitely contributed towards me making this change in my life. So with this new schedule, this new sleep cycle, I'm now, since school has started a few days ago, my sleep cycle is a lot better now. I'm able to wake up on time for school. I'm able to attend all my classes. I'm able to maintain my levels of energy throughout the day. So I feel like this one piece of advice from the panelists was very important to me personally, and has definitely helped me make a change in my lifestyle for the better. As you can see, almost all of us on the leadership team have had great revelations throughout this entire process and are eager to put these learnings to good use. Now let's hear from our volunteers and students across the globe.
Hi, I'm 𝗧𝗘𝗘𝗡 and I'm an active member of the GSA COVID organization. I'd spoken in a previous show about how I've been trying to get more disciplined by following the schedule and how that has helped me feel overall more motivated. I'm a person that enjoys doing creative things. After watching the show, I was inspired by the recommendations from the panelists to research some baking recipes. After watching the show, I became very fond of baking. much fun to bake. In addition to baking, I also do artwork such as mandala art and painting. Overall, painting and baking make me feel more relaxed and productive overall.
Hi, my name is 𝗬𝗓𝗡. I'm 12 years old and I watch the GSA COVID events.
The guidance from the panelists of the GSA COVID event reminded me that I need to keep a healthy routine. I'm trying to spend more time outside playing with my uncle's dog Kenny. I'm also trying to sleep on regular timings. Another thing is, I spoke to my dad and we both try to play table tennis more frequently.
Hello. As advised in the Teen Talk session by Dr. Raghuram, I started doing different drills to keep up my soccer skills. I also got input from my coach via Zoom calls to improve my game. I found some efficient tools and methods to enhance ball control, balance, strength, stamina, speed, and agility. I will share some drills that I did and that you can try at home.
So first, these are some quick touches. They help with ball control and agility because you're always touching the ball and you keep moving forward. Next, we have the box touches. These really help with ball control because you're touching the ball at every step, and they help you get a better feel for the ball and find your rhythm when you're with the ball. These are one of the most important drills and fundamentals. Next are these triangles. These help in tight spaces because you're able to touch the ball from one side to the other and in a single motion, so they are really helpful for tight spaces and help with ball control. I think these ones are more advanced, so try them after you try the boxes. Next, we have a quick skill. This is just a kind of game situation where you would try to beat a defender. This is called the balance board. Basically, it helps with balance, calves, and helps you also get more power in your legs when you push off. These are squats, one-legged squats, and you can do 5 to 10 repetitions of them on each leg. I'd recommend 5 sets, so 25 to 50 squats each leg. Start off as 25, and as you keep progressing, start doing more, which will help you in the long run. Yeah, so always get down there. Next, this is for more advanced. You use the balance board and you try to hit the ball back to whoever's throwing it. It can be a wall, your siblings, whoever. You can try to hit the ball back in how many of your touches. Just try not to let the ball drop and keep your legs on the balance board at all times. These are using tennis balls, which is even more challenging and is for more advanced players.
Hope these drills can keep you engaged. Inspired by Teen Talks conducted by GSA COVID, my sister thought that she could thank those who are on the front line and came up with this idea.
Hi, my name's Kanu, and I wanted to thank the first responders and the frontline workers for all their hard work during this pandemic. I wanted to thank them by singing them a song. I dedicate this song to the frontline workers and the first responders. Thank you. We heard the warnings on the news. A confident enemy appeared and no one had a clue. Like a war they have to fight. We must stop our busy lives, stay home and sacrifice. When we're afraid, as we look round, what was thought safe is crumbling down. We see the best in people shine. Let's thank all those on the front line.
Hi everybody, my name is Veda and I'm in 3rd grade. Since we all can't go out this summer due to COVID, I've been trying to find some great ways to spend the summer. So I've been watching the GSA COVID program for the past 3 weeks and it gave me some great tips. For example, I heard about a coding camp and enrolled. By now, I can make some great games. Watch. So this game is called Squash Ball. You click on start and it starts. The goal of the game is to keep the ball from touching the green line. When it touches the green line, there's a sign that says you lose and you can restart. But that's not all. When I'm bored or stressed, I like to play the piano, and it helps me a lot in expressing my feelings. I'll play a really nice tune for you. Ready? I hope you also watched the GSA COVID program, and I hope it gave you some tips too, and you spend the summer in a great way. Bye!
Hi, I'm Disha, and for the past 3 weeks I've been watching the GSA program, and I wanted to share my somewhat interesting experience of how lockdown has been for me in COVID-19. For me, the lockdown first started after at the end of 7th grade, after my final exams had finished, and I could finally relax after a long stressful year of attending an Indian school for the first time. The curriculum is very rigorous, a lot different from what the average American students probably used to, and we don't get a lot of creative freedom here in India. And for me, being creative with my assignment is what kept me going, and the fact that I couldn't do that really did put a damper on things. During my summer break, I wanted to travel, to go on road trips with my family, to finally relax before having to go back to school for 8th grade. But I was very disappointed. Because I could not do that due to COVID-19 and the social distancing rule. As the people close to me know, I am a huge reader. I will read anything and everything in sight. I'm not even kidding. And the fact that I couldn't go to libraries or bookstores or anywhere that sold and their customers read books really began to frustrate me, as I read everything that was in the house, including my entire bookshelf. Again, not kidding. So I went back online, and as I was a few weeks after I started, I rediscovered my favorite reading site, 𝗧𝗘𝗘𝗡. I was going through my feed when I found this book that I'd written, a fan fiction book that I'd left untouched. I had half written it and left it untouched due to schoolwork, because every time I would try to write a chapter, every time I tried to write a chapter, I remember that I had an assignment that I was supposed to be working on and left it because of guilt. I saw, as I was scrolling through the comments to see whether really I should salvage this or not, I saw a comment from a fan who said that she really liked my book and the direction it was going, and she would love to co-write it with me. I was apprehensive with the idea at first, since I'm not good at working with people. But I soon realized it would be really helpful for me, as I had no clue where to take the plot and how the main character's story would play out. Since I couldn't see my friends due to the lockdown, writing with the co-author was really helpful for me, as it helped me interact socially a little bit, and we kept pushing each other to write, motivating ourselves to continue the story, and eventually finished it, barely 2 months ago. I honestly, and I'm being completely honest when I say this, I did not expect to receive the response I did. My book now started out at having 0 reads by 0 readers, and now has over 20,000 reads by over 1,000 readers from across the globe. It has over 100 people have added it into the library, and the comment section is exploding. And it had also won an award on that same reading site called the Lumos Awards in 2019 for Best Alternate Universe, and it has the highest vote count out of any book in any category in that award ceremony. And when I first started writing, I was doing it for myself, but now since I'm getting a lot of encouragement and support, I'm motivated to continue the story. I'm actually working on the sequel, and I have a few original stories published at the same time. So what I'm trying to say, if you can't tell by my incessant rambling, is that if you have something that you have a passion that you haven't been able to do because of school or work or whatever, now is a time where you should be focusing on it, since you have so much time to yourself, even with online classes and such. You can, if it's something that doesn't require going outside, like music, like playing music, or like the piano, the cello, or whatever you're interested in, now is the perfect time to pursue that, because you have unlimited amounts of time at home and you can devote how much ever time you want to your passion. This is not an excuse for getting out of homework. And for people like me who really are running out of things to read, here are like a few good sites for fan fiction and actual books alike that might work. Wattpad, I don't really use Wattpad. I stick more to that arena of things. But Wattpad is really good if you want original stories, and it also has like a wide range of fan fiction on literally every fandom there is, like Harry Potter, Shadowhunters, The Hunger Games, and Quotev is a smaller platform, but it also has plenty of things to choose from, and you can also take quizzes on it to find out which character from main book you are. You get the gist. Archive of Our Own, I don't use Archive of Our Own or Fanfiction.net, but I've heard really good things about them. There's also this one called Storypedia, and again, I don't use it, but I've heard good reviews about it. And if you also are interested in writing like me, you don't have to write on a platform like I did. I wrote directly on the platform and then copy pasted the chapters into my Google Drive later for a backup plan. If you are interested in writing, I would recommend that you start out on paper first, actually handwriting it down, and from there you make a rough outline of the plot, and then you can fill in the details later, and you can devote. And yeah, that's basically how COVID was in a nutshell for me.
Hi, I'm Adira and I'm in year 3.
Hi, I'm Aditi. Currently I'm in year 7. We've been watching the past episodes of GSA COVID. Those ideas and suggestions have been helpful in my daily routine. I've been having online assignments from school during lockdown, and though I haven't been with my friends or having face-to-face lessons with my teacher, I still enjoyed the online schooling because I get to keep in track with my progress. I have always had a passion on music because even in this tough situation, it helped me to stay relaxed and cool.
And I played the piano lots during this lockdown.
Such cute responses from students across the globe. And Adira, I love that board on your wall that says, sometimes you gotta create your own sunshine. Isn't that so true, especially now more than ever? So based on the recommendations of one of our panelists, 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘, I read the book Getting Things Done by David Allen. And this book provided wonderful ideas as to how you can categorize and organize your work in various different ways and be able to complete them without having it all in your head. And its highlights are around organizing your work under project items or ticket items, which could be like research or etc. that may take you a few days or weeks to complete. And you can take these projects and categorize them into smaller tasks such as action items or wait items. Wait items being tasks that you're waiting on someone else for, that you've delegated to them and you're dependent on them for it. And action items being tasks that you can get on and finish yourself. So based on these recommendations, I have built myself a organizing board. I typically am not a paper person. I do not write down my tasks. I don't really organize myself. I kind of just have everything in my head, and as they come along, I get things done. So this was definitely a little bit different for me. I had a conversation with my dad a while back, and he told me that my head is like a bucket, and people are throwing marbles into this bucket of different colors, different shapes, different sizes, and these are all tasks that I have to get done. And now I have an overflowing bucket and I don't know exactly how to tackle it. So I'm just picking things out one by one and I'm not sure what I'm doing, right? So putting everything down on this board definitely helped me try and organize my thoughts, and now I can just come down in the morning, just look at the board, and I know exactly what I'm doing for the day. So I've organized it in a certain way. I have my key projects that I'm basically focusing on, and underneath that I have all of my smaller tasks. So for example, I've color-coded this entire thing based on priority. So for example, my orange post-its would represent some high-level tasks that I need to finish, and my pink post-its represent these weight items that I was talking about before. So items that I depend on other people for. For example, my parents or my college counselors, etc. And I shift these things into smaller topics and, you know, have them in my doing section, in my done section. I kind of move them accordingly based on what I do on a daily basis. So this has definitely helped me kind of organize my thoughts. You know, it goes from literally having everything in your head, you're just thinking about like 500 things at once, but you know, as you put it down, as you section it off, as you prioritize it, it makes it much easier for you to actually focus and put your best foot forward for each of these tasks. So obviously this does help me keep track of all of my tasks, but there is one very important thing, and that is to take care of myself and give myself breaks when I need them. And that is a small sneak peek as to how I managed to cope in this pandemic situation. It has been awesome and eye-opening to see and hear from all these students on their personal experiences behind this pandemic, and realizing that different students cope in different ways. We've had so many students share their various ways of dealing with this pandemic and keeping a strong mental health, including singing, dancing, coding, reading, playing the piano, playing sports, and various other things such as spending time with family and even writing books. This goes to show that there is no limit to this time that has been given to us during this pandemic, and the fact that any challenge can be changed into an opportunity. I am beyond proud and impressed by all of these students and all of their stories, and I hope that this inspires other students to do the same. With this, I am pleased to successfully wrap up the GSA COVID event series, and we are ready to begin working towards our GSA COVID programs, which involve providing for peer support groups, leadership, and volunteering opportunities for more students. We are going to be rolling out a series of free workshops for students and volunteers that range from visual and performing arts such as dance camps, music camps, and art camps, as well as professional success workshops such as coding, leadership, and agile framework, and many more. Please do keep checking our website for frequent updates, and I can't wait to bring you more success stories from our workshops and webinars in the future. Please do keep following us on all of our social media, so Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, all at GSA COVID, and check out our website, www.gsacovid.org, for more information about our activities and more ways you can help and seek help. Remember, no help is too small, and there is always something you can help with. You'll never know unless you reach out. Please continue to let us know your personal experiences around applying some of these tactics to your everyday life by commenting on our social media, sending us videos, or even emailing us at info@gsacovid.org. We also did talk about a virtual fundraising campaign last week to raise funds and donate to the LCIF, the Lions Club International Foundation, which will then disperse the money across the globe towards COVID relief. We have raised over $6,000 so far, and our ultimate target is $20,000. Please hit the donate button on our website today to donate towards families across the globe and help them face and fight COVID-19. Also remember, all volunteers that are helping us raise money towards this cause are all eligible for the Melvin Jones Fellowship Award when they raise funds over $1,000. There is always an opportunity for you to be an MJF qualifier as well. Just reach out through our website. Together, let's take a global stand against COVID. Are you a student going through a lot of anxiety?
Maybe stress or uncertainty due to COVID? Well, just know you're not alone.
We know what it's like to be going through all of these things, and we are here to help.
So come join us on all August Sundays, starting August 16th, where professional panelists will be sharing
their personal insights and their own stories of COVID-19
to help create more awareness around mental health challenges during this pandemic.
Let's take a global stand against COVID.
Teen Talks every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific times, only on TVASIA Telugu.
రండి రండి చెప్పేస్తే ఏం బాగుంటుంది ఆ బీట్ స్టార్ట్ కాగానే మీకే అర్థమైపోతుంది ఆస్వాదిద్దామా
Oh my god, daddy, just don't be my daddy. Changu bala illaga nenu ela maripoye changu mani balega maate man